Okay, today we'll go into the next topic, that means this stress quadratic, then we'll be talking about equilibrium equation and so on. Thus in the last class we discussed up to Morse cycle. Okay. So this particular slide is already downloaded here. So let me explain you from the slide already downloaded, but you can always go there and click on this link, you will get this particular slide, okay, from this particular link. Okay. If it is not available, send me an email asking for the relevant permission to view it. That is clear? Okay, let us start from here. So what is today's topic is called Cauchy stress surface or Cauchy stress quadratic. Actually this is another representation for the state of stress at a point. Okay. So far we have encountered the stress tensor or Cauchy stress tensor, right? Starting from a point in a stressed body, we obtain stress tensor. Then we determine principal stresses and we represented state of stress through Morse circuits. So today's topic is how to represent the state of stress in a surface. Surface means it is a three-dimensional surface, not a plane surface, it is a curved surface. And the particular shape of that surface is a ellipsoid, so that particular shape surface is a stress ellipsoid. So an ellipsoid is shown here. You know what is an ellipsoid? You revolve the ellipse about its major axis, okay, and then you will get such an ellipsoid. Now here again something is to be noted. The thing is, the ellipse such or ellipsoid such formed is oriented along the principal stress directions. Clear? So this x, y and z directions are the principal stress directions. Say its origin is at P and a surface and a point on the surface is Q. Clear? Okay. So what happens now? This particular point Q on the stress ellipsoid, this point represents a state of stress. So how we obtain state of stress from this point Q? If this point Q is known, we know the x, y, z coordinate of point Q. Okay. In addition, we know something else. What is that? If we join the point Q with the origin, that means for this line PQ, the direction cosine of this line PQ is known, and in addition at this point Q, the outer normal direction of the surface, that is also known. Now look once again. This PQ line has a particular direction cosine. Okay. Now if the circle is a sphere, for a spherical surface this PQ line is same with the outer normal of point Q at the surface. Yes. But this is an ellipsoid, right? So at point Q, the outer normal of the surface will not be along PQ, because we have to construct a tangent plane at point Q. Yes. And normal to that tangent plane is our outer normal. This is clear. So these things we can obtain from this ellipsoid. Okay. Now, what is the equation of this ellipsoid? This is also given. This is constructed in principal directions, and we also know what are the values of principal stresses, so sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3. So if we plot them along this x, y and z direction, we get this as the ellipsoid, and this is the equation of this stress ellipsoid. So point Q, it is a point on this ellipsoid, so this also follows this equation. Fine. Now, what are the properties of Cauchy stress surface? Here, if this PQ square is 1 by S means sigma, right? This sigma is a stress value. S stands for sigma. Okay. So what is this particular sigma here? This is normal stress on a plane whose outer normal is PQ. That means along this line PQ, we can always construct a normal plane.
Yes.
So on this particular plane, we will get normal stress sigma. So it is sigma n.
Yes.
Do you recall what is sigma n?
Yes.
Find it out from sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3. We have also calculated tau n and sigma n, but here sigma n is used. Right. So, from the principal stresses, we can take any direction. That means this PQ can be taken in any direction,
Yes.
and for that particular direction, our direction cosines are known. So, we can find out what is this sigma, this S, and we can find out what are the points Q. So, if we go on plotting such points, it will give this as the equation. This is one of the things, right? Now, there is another property. What is the second property? The normal to the surface at Q. This is parallel to the resultant stress vector T, right? So, you know what is this say? This is the diagram we have seen earlier. In general, this normal strain sigma and this traction vector T, their direction are not identical.
Yes.
For principal stresses, they are identical. That means at this point, okay, at quadrant point, those directions are identical. In general, for point Q, they are not identical. So this is the thing, right? So this sigma n direction, this sigma direction, its direction is n. This is given by this distance PQ. Rather, not directly PQ. So here this PQ square is 1 by sigma.
1 by sigma.
Okay, fine. And when we are at point Q, if we find out the outer normal there, say this M, direction M is the normal to the tangent plane at point Q, right? So direction M and direction N, in general, they are not equal.
Yes.
Okay. So this direction of T is resultant stress vector. This direction would be given by the direction of the outer normal at surface point Q. Okay. So what is this particular direction M?
The outer normal of this plane.
That we can obtain
Yes.
if the surface equation is known, we know what is there. And the second statement, this statement states that the normal to the outer surface at Q is parallel to the resultant stress vector T. That means this direction M and this direction T, they are identical. So they are parallel, they have the same direction cosines. This is clear. So if these two are known, this sigma is known, right? Then we can find out what is tau here.
Yes.
We can determine what is this T, sigma value is known, its direction is known. This T direction is known, so we can find out what is T from the angle between these.
Cos theta.
That we have already seen how to find out angle between two lines when their direction cosines are known.
Yes.
So we know what is the shear stress in this particular plane. So we can say the state of stress is known for point Q. In Morse circle also we obtain that sigma and tau from a particular point in the region of Morse circles. Clear? So here the same thing we are getting from this stress ellipsoid. Okay, this is clear. Now these two, they are statements only, right? So are they really true or not, that is what we have to see. Okay, and for that you note a particular properties of a surface. Okay, you see, for this surface we have an outer normal, and this particular surface is the equation also. For stress ellipsoid, what is the equation of the surface? This is the equation of the surface.
Yes.
Right. Now, what I was talking about is this particular observation. That means, if the equation of a surface is in 3D, so it will have x, y and z coordinate, and if we express it in this form, f x, y, z equal to 0. What is our f x, y, z here? This is x, y, z, and if we take this right hand side into the left hand side,
Plus 1 is so.
then it will become 0. So our f x, y, z actually is this, it is becoming 0. Clear? Okay, fine. So for a surface with equation, this is a generalized equation, any surface will have this sort of equation. Then the normal to the tangent plane at point Q, that means this is the outer normal, point Q. On the surface has direction cosines proportional to del f del x, partial derivative of this function f, partial derivative of function f with respect to y. This would be proportional to the direction cosine my. M is the direction of this outer normal. This M is the direction of the outer normal. Okay. So its direction cosines are mx, my, mz. So they are proportional to mx, my, mz are proportional to del f del x, del f del y, del f del z. Very clear. Okay. So this is what we will be using, right? And what else is here? Now we observe, say this sigma, say any normal stress at point Q, right? That is what we have already stated. S is sigma. So what is this 1 by sigma? This is pq square. Okay. And this is also sigma 1 nx square, sigma 2 ny square plus sigma 3 nz square. This we know. Okay. This we know from our earlier discussion on stress tensors, and from that itself we have constructed more circles, right? So this is a known equation to us. We are not highlighting on this particular equation. This will happen. Okay, now what is nx? For point Q with coordinate x, y, z, nx is the direction cosine of this line PQ. If P is the origin, this is true. And this nx is x by, if the distance of the line is r, then x by r. Clear? Okay. Ny here is y by r. This is fine. So, in this equation, if we substitute for nx, ny and nz, right, what we will get? This is sigma 1 x square by r square will come. From here also sigma 2 y square divided by r square, the same thing here. So that r square is multiplied in the left hand side, it is becoming sigma r square. This part is clear? Okay. So we are getting this sigma r square equal to this. So what was the equation? This is equal to plus minus 1. So our equation will become sigma r square equal to plus minus 1. Okay, that's clear. So when this, why this is plus minus 1? Sigma is tensile, this is plus 1, sigma is compressive, this is minus 1. Right? Now this sigma r square, is it becoming 1? From construction, is it not becoming 1? This is sigma and this is the r square. PQ is the distance r. PQ is the distance r. And we have constructed in such a way that this sigma r square is becoming 1. Clear? So that part, this statement, first statement, this is true. That's very true. This part is clear. So then what remains is this second statement, whether they are parallel or not. That is what we have to observe. We know how to find out direction cosine of the outer normal at point Q.
Yes.
We also know that here we have a resultant stress vector for this particular value of sigma, and that traction vector T, it has component Tx, Ty, Tz, these things we also know. But let us see how to find out or whether this particular statement is correct or not. Right. This much we have seen. It's parallel to the, this is the statement actually. Second statement is again repeated here.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So this much is clear. If f x y z is given by this particular equation, let us calculate del f del x. Right. And del f del x is proportional to mx. Say alpha is our proportionality constant. So mx is alpha into del f del x. What is del f del x? This is 2x into sigma 1,
2 sigma 1
and all these terms, they will not contribute anything.
0.
Okay. So mx is alpha into del f del x is our twice sigma 1 x.
Yes.
This is clear. Mx is becoming twice alpha sigma 1 x. The same thing will happen for this my and mz. Del f del y is twice y sigma 2, del f del z is twice z,
In every case, the
Okay.
proportionality constant will be same.
Twice alpha sigma 1, this is twice alpha sigma 2, this is twice alpha sigma 3.
No, sir. I have
Oh, you are talking about this.
Proportionality
This
constant is
will be
alpha.
this proportionality constant is same. They are proportional. Del f del x and mx, they are proportional, and that proportionality constant is alpha.
Yes.
So this is also valid for del f del y and this direction cosine my. My is also alpha into del f del y. This much is
And
true.
in three cases, the proportionality constant will be same.
For the case of direction cosine.
For the okay, sir.
Okay. But del f del x, del f del y values, they will come out from the equation of this surface. In our particular case, this is the surface equation. This much is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is this Tx, Ty and Tz?
Here, sigma 2.
Okay, that is true. So this Tx, Ty and Tz, this we can say they are equal to this sigma 1 nx, this is sigma 2 ny, this is sigma 3 mz. This you agree? This is true. Okay. So in that case, what we will do now? Okay, fine. Now from this equation, you see we can compute what is this nx we have seen earlier.
X by r.
Okay, this is x by r. So this is what we are substituting. We are substituting for this nx, ny and nz. So we'll get Tx is sigma 1 x by r. This is true, sigma 2 y by r. Now, what does it mean? This sigma 1x is Tx into r. Sigma 1x is r into Tx. Here sigma 2y is r into Ty. Like this. Now what? This sigma 1x is r into Tx. Previously we had mx is twice alpha sigma 1x. So if we put instead of sigma 1x this r into Tx, what we will get? From this equation we will get mx is twice alpha r Tx. Clear? From here we will get my equal to twice alpha sigma 2y is r ty, so this is twice alpha r ty. Same thing for mz. Okay. Now you see, this three sets of equation has the identical constant twice alpha into r. 2 is constant, alpha is constant, r is a distance between the points P and Q.
Is also constant.
Okay. So mx and tx, they are proportional.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, my and ty, they are proportional. Mz and tz, they are proportional. If they are proportional, then what does it mean? The direction of this outer normal m and our resultant stress tensor T are identical. So that is what was the statement here. Normal to the surface at Q is parallel to the resultant stress vector T. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is known as Cauchy's stress surface or Cauchy's stress quadratic. Right. So you can say what is the utility of this thing? As such, nothing. But to know the subject, this is what the mathematicians they used to do that point of time. You can say this is another visualization of the state of stress. Okay, then the next topic is differential equation of equilibrium. Okay, this is our next topic. So, today we'll only start this discussion. Okay, there is something more to it. Only we'll obtain differential equation of equilibrium, that much. But discussion on that particular equation will carry out, or we'll go on discussing with that in the next lecture. So, here what is shown is basically the state of stress inside the body. You recall that first lecture on our state of stress at a point. We had some forces acting on the boundary, and from the inside of the body we picked up a point. We obtained the resultant stress tensor there, etc., and we developed Cauchy's stress tensor, etc., etc., right?
Yes.
So, today what we are doing is, we are moving from that particular point where the state of stress was defined. From that point we are moving to a point, to another point, which is very close to point to that particular point. Say here it is O, or we can say our coordinate axis we have shifted at that particular point.
Okay.
So, how much we have shifted? Along x, y and z we have shifted by an amount dx, dy and dz. So, this is what you must take into account. Now, we are not discussing about a point, we are now discussing about this particular volume. So, this equation what we will get from this elemental volume, that would remain valid for the entire body. Clear? So, that means if we start from Cauchy's equation, we obtain state of stress at a point, that much only. And if we then follow this differential equation of equilibrium, we can obtain the state of stress of neighboring points. And by that process, we can find out the state of stress of the entire body. Okay, this is fine. All these things are within continuum mechanics. You have to keep it in mind. If continuum breaks down, this will not remain valid. Right. So, this is the thing we are going to do.
Yes, sir.
The state of stress matrix, this is given for this point O, right. So, through this point, if we construct the planes perpendicular to x, okay, this is the plane, perpendicular to y, this bottom surface is the plane, and perpendicular to z, that back surface is the plane. Okay. So, for these planes, we have three stress components, sigma xx, sigma xy, sigma xz.
Yes, sir.
But you know a normal stress and two shear stresses. Okay. Perpendicular to y at the bottom face, we have this stress component sigma yy, yx, yz. That much is clear. But what about the plane perpendicular to x passing through x equal to delta x? That means in this front plane which is observable from us, this was the back side.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, here due to this change in space coordinate, the magnitude of stresses, they will also change.
Yes, sir.
So, this is the change, and what we are doing here, say if stress is a function basically, or here sigma xx is a function, say, it has some distribution. This we know because this is not a body under uniform stress. There is variation in stress, there is variation in sigma xx as well. Actually, all the stress components, they have some variation.
Yes, sir.
So you are taking this partial derivative, right? And this is the tangent basically. Right? This is the slope of that particular function at point O. That means at this point we know this value. We are taking the variation at this point and we are moving by this distance dx considering only the first derivative. Okay, this is how we do for elemental considerations. This is the quantity of stress sigma xx we will get at this plane. So this variation is along x, this dx, this is variation along x. So these three quantities sigma xx, xy and xz, here we have derivative with respect to x. This is clear?
Yes,
Okay, what will happen for our sigma yy, yz
YX.
and yx, yz? This is variation along y because we have moved by a distance dy along y. So we are taking derivative with respect to y. Okay, and this is multiplied with this distance dy. Again, these three stress components on this top surface is known. In this particular front surface, this is variation along z. So these are the quantities sigma z z del z into this dz and plus that sigma z z what we have earlier. This way. So what we will do from here? Say the area of the six surfaces. There are six surfaces. They are known. This area are dy dz, then dx dy and dx dz. The stresses acting on those surfaces, they are also clear. We know what are those things. And we will find out what are the net forces along x, along y and along z.
Yes, sir.
So if we use force balance condition, force equilibrium
Force
condition.
equilibrium.
So along x, along y and along z, summation of all the forces has to be 0. Now quite obviously this sigma xx and this sigma xx, they will cancel out. Only this differential part, it will remain. Okay. But in addition to these stress components, we are carrying out a force balance, right? So there might be a chance of some body force. Usually any body is under a gravity force. It is there. There might be some magnetic field. If it is a magnetic material, it will feel some magnetic force. Okay. If it is in a moving body, if it is acceleration is there in the body, it will get inertia force. Again, for uniform velocity in a circular motion, there is angular velocity and angular acceleration will be there in such cases. So there are possibilities of some body forces coming from some source. So those components we have to take into account, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Without that, our force balance will not be correct. So those are shown here as body force Bx, By and Bz. Here you see we are in continuum mechanics. Continuum mechanics treats forces which are basically given by the volume of the body element. Previously, recall our stress strain discussion at the atomic level. Okay, at micro level, then at lower level, we have observed that the surface force, the line force, then the volume force. Every type of forces has their respective application areas.
Yes, sir.
And in continuum mechanics, the forces which are of importance, they are basically the body forces, the volume forces coming from volume. So this Bx, By and Bz, they are body forces in the sense that they act on a volume element. Clear? What is the volume of this body?
dx, dy, dj.
Very good. Dx, dy, dz is the volume. So they are body force per unit volume. Okay.
So bx, by and bj is the volume, body force per unit volume.
Per unit volume.
Yes.
Now this force, the stresses at different planes, we have already discussed about the forces,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that is what is highlighted here. We have 6 faces, 1, 2, then we have 3, 4, 5 and 6. This is what is elaborated, highlighted here. We have already discussed. So, what is the differential of these two?
Only the differential term.
Only differential terms will be there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But in general, for the body as such,
Yes, sir.
our force balance condition is this particular term for the forces acting along x direction. This is clear. Now you see, for this particular surface perpendicular to x, okay, the area of this surface is dy into dz here, and here we have only stress sigma xx acting along x.
Yes.
There are other forces acting on other surfaces, like in 3 and 4, this particular direction, these are sigma y x.
Yes.
Here also we will have a component, this component sigma y x. For the z direction, see here, we have a particular component along x, so this is sigma zx. So these are the components only, sigma x, then tau, actually yx, you can say xy or yx, then tau zx, or this is written as tau xz. So only these 3 forces, they are acting along x-axis. So the differential quantities on sigma xx, let's say, so tau xx, tau xy, tau xz, that is considered. Okay. So this is the thing. For x direction, the area is dy dz.
Yes, sir.
For force along y direction, the area is dx dz.
dx and dy. Yes, sir.
Okay, and for z direction force,
dx and dy.
dx and dy is the same. But the body force, which component of body force? Along x, bx. It is acting on the volume. So it is bx into dx dy dz. And there might be another one, actually this is known as a dynamic force. Okay. This we have to consider again separately on top of this body force, because this is coming from the inertia of the body. Okay. So that means even if there is no external body force, but this particular body is in an acceleration, is accelerating. Then also we will get this part of dynamic force or inertia force. This comes from the mass density of the body.
Mass into acceleration, sir. dm into dx.
So this is m,
Yes.
density into the volume. Density is also in per unit volume. So this is mass and this is acceleration. This is mf. This clear? This part. So this is the total differential equation for force equilibrium. And similarly for forces acting along y direction and z direction, we will get two such equations. That is all. Okay. So whatever we will get from this particular equation, the other two will be identical. We are not going to discuss on that. Let us see what we are getting from here. So quite obviously from here, from these three, only the differential part will remain. Now you see, these differential parts are shown here. Okay. Now this delta x is basically dx. So when we will multiply with this, we will get a term dx dy dz. Okay. Clear? Here also this differential.
Delta y into delta.
Oh, I am sorry. This has to be delta y, this has to be delta z, because this variation is along x and y. There is some mistake here in the slide. So that is what I should correct this thing in the slide. Whatever. You understand the thing, right? So that means from these terms we are getting out this volume element once again. It will give us dx dy dz. From here along y direction, we will get this as delta y. For z direction, we will get this as delta z. So now what happens? This dx dy dz, they will get cancelled. So what remains from here? Del tau xx, del x, del tau x, y. Okay.
This is also del y, sir.
This is also del y and this is also del z. Okay. So that is what we are getting.
Yes.
This is correct. So actually we have some problem here. This is actually, these expressions need to be changed. There are error in this slide. Okay. So whatever. You understand that this is what we are going to obtain from these equations, right? Okay. So this is the first one, second and third one are similar thing. So this is, these three equations are known as the equations of equilibrium or differential equation of equilibrium, because these equations are differential equations. And then they can be again expressed in another form, keeping it like this. Okay. So that means this rho into this Wx, actually this is taken for this acceleration part, right?
Yes, sir. In x direction.
Next direction. So this would be whatever. There should be a double dot something here, u double dot.
Yes, sir.
So again you understand this is not the correct form or whatever. This is understood that this is some inertia type force.
Sorry, here in Fx is also body force per unit volume.
They are per unit volume, so that way rho is taken out, so Bx, By, Bz by rho as if they are Fx, Fy and Fz. That way I can say them. But anyway, this is the general form, and a special form is when there is no external body force and when there is no external acceleration, or the body is not under an accelerating motion. In such case, this is the set of equations. Clear? So these sets of equations, what they give the state of stress inside the body. Okay, clear. Now for other coordinate directions, we'll again have similar type of differential equations, but their derivation will not start from such a system. Initially we have to start from other coordinate system. Okay. So in your textbook you will find such derivations. You see, for strength of materials or in solid mechanics also such discussion is there.
Heat transfer
Okay. Whatever. Very good. This is for spherical coordinate, other earlier one is for cylindrical. So this much we will only talk today. The other part, this is not we will be discussing today. Okay. So this much for today. We have seen Cauchy's stress quadratic and the differential equations of equilibrium. Further discussions will carry out in the next lecture. Okay, let's stop.